So, as you can see, we had an incident while at Prepper Nurse One's property over the weekend, last weekend. Um, Not sure what got him, and I just want to make this clear that he is healing well. He's under vet care, yada yada yada, right? And it was not Ed's dogs, okay? So let's be very clear with that. Was not Ed's dogs, and that is not what this video is about. What this video is about is my screw up, because I want you to think of the word complacency. So complacency falls into our lives because we're doing the same thing all the time. And, we get into these routines. And how this happened was I had him out tied on a lead so he could go in and out of my little cabin I'm building. And my dog has separation anxiety when he's in an area that he's unfamiliar with. He's used to me being with him all the time. So if he's tied out, he starts whining and carrying on. And this brought a predator in. And unfortunately, he got tagged. Now, we were lucky. We were extremely lucky. According to the vet, this was either a very large dog or a wolf hybrid. It definitely looks like to the vet that it was a canine bite, not a bear bite, but it could be a small bear bite. It's possible. There are bears, there are coyotes, there are wolf hybrids all over West Virginia. So, my fault, because I forgot that we were in the woods, and I got complacent thinking that, okay, well, there's a lot of people here. They've never seen any predators around, and you would think with everybody running around and all the noise going on from people that a predator would not come in. However, we see the result. So this is a week later, and he's healing up fine. As you can see, he's healing fine. I wanted to go over this with you because I've thought about it all this week. We get complacent as a truck driver, we get complacent on our pre-trips. We get complacent on, our home security. We get complacent on our driving, right? Because we're thinking, oh, this will never happen to me. And along with thinking that, you get reckless or you forget to check things. One of my coworkers forgot to check the locking pins on a triaxle, 20-foot triaxle slider, right? So the locking pins weren't locked in. He gets on the highway. He has to hit the brakes, and the tandem slid out from underneath the trailer. Lucky for him, there was no container on the chassis. Well, this is just an example of getting complacent in your job, right? I will say this. With the way things are going with the economy and the way people are being fired left and right. You need to be on the top of your game right now. You cannot afford to be complacent. There are people out on the highway that specifically are targeting trucks. They're targeting people in expensive cars, and they are slamming on the brakes in front of you to try and get you to rear end them or hit them, so that they can claim insurance. I know that's insane, especially when you're hauling 80,000 pounds plus, but this is what people are doing. So we need to address complacency. Okay. I've noticed it myself, obviously, this week that I have started getting complacent in a couple of areas of my life, and this was a wake up call. And I'm hoping this is a wake up call to you. It only takes 5 minutes for something to go completely sideways. Now, I will say this. Thank you, Bear Independent, for your medical kit. Because of your medical kit, I was able to treat him on site, and we have no infection because of that medical kit. That seems like a small thing, but with a small dog like this, especially up in age, he's 13, that can be a very huge thing, especially when I'm 8.5 hours away from his primary vet. And the emergency vet in West Virginia basically took one look at him, said, it's not a snake bite. Yeah, he was bit by something. Use antibiotic cream on him and let him go. I wasn't comfortable with that, so I brought him home. And Monday I went to my vet, Moyac Animal Hospital, for those who do not know. And he got seen by Dr. Tracy, and he is now on antibiotics and a whole plethora. And since it was in West Virginia, we went ahead and boosted his rabies shot. He wasn't due for it, but because rabies is prevalent in West Virginia, we went ahead and boosted him for it. Obviously, he has a new collar because the halter that was on him was rubbing up against one of the bite marks. And it looks like something tried to pick him up. And the funny thing about it is he's so fat that it did not pierce into any of his muscle. It just got fat. So he's so fat it couldn't pick him up, right? But scared to be Jesus out of me, right? So I want you to take a few minutes today and think about, have you got complacent in certain areas of your life, i.e. driving down the highway? Are you paying attention to everything going on around you? Are you not leaving enough space in between you and the vehicle in front of you? Are you not doing a full pre-trip every time you get into the truck? Are you not going around at night and making sure that all the windows and all the doors are locked at night? Okay? And I have an alarm system. I would suggest you get one. I would suggest you also get one that has the camera system so that you can and hopefully one that you can use a mobile app, and if need be, if the alarm goes off, because I had a cat, and my cat would jump up and would set off the motion detector when I wasn't home, so that you can look at the camera and say, oh, okay, it was the cat. Nobody's trying to break in. And several alarm companies out there will work with you on that, and will give you uh, good ideas for what system works for you. Um, Now, if you don't have pets, obviously a standard system would work for you. And I use Simply Safe. That is a system I've had for years. I've never had a problem with them. And it was a do it yourself install. But like I said, this incident was a bit of a wake up call for me, because I am a hunter. I do know that this time of the year, uh, animals are fattening up for the winter, and I just got complacent. I didn't think about the fact, hey, we are in the woods and predators are around, and it didn't even occur to me, right? I didn't even think that. Uh, I'll be honest, I was more worried about one of Ed's dogs getting out and getting him more than I was about other predators. And no offense, nothing bad about Ed, but Ed's dogs are 9 months old. They are puppies. They are very big, and they can harm a smaller animal like my dog just by trying to play with them. Okay. And that's what I was concerned about. Um, and any pet owner who is worth their salt is going to be concerned about their pets, right? Um, so just take a few moments today and stop and think and learn from my mistake, uh, that things can go sideways very quickly, and you need to be prepared for that. Okay. um a first aid kit, like I said, I have the small first aid kit from Bear Independent. um that it comes from Refuge Medical, of course. uh and that helped me immensely. Okay. um Obviously, my first concern was it a snake? Because again, in the woods, snakes are there. Whether you see them or not, they are there. Okay, so that was my first concern. My secondary concern was this some kind of rabid animal? Okay, so you in your life need to have first aid kits on hand for every situation, whether it be a trauma kit, whether it be just a regular little, band-aids and sprain kit. You need to have some kind of medical on hand at all times. And uh, I do have that. Never thought I'd have to really use it, but I'm glad I had it. Um, and you need to get first aid training, okay? And I'll be the first to admit, my first aid training was maybe 20 years ago, you know? I just, again, it's complacency, right? You, you, you get scratched up, you get dinged up, and you take care of it yourself. Um, but that causes you to get a little bit of a complacent attitude. Uh, Another thing where you can get complacent is your weapons training. When's the last time you took your weapons, whether it be bow and arrow or a gun or knives or whatever you're using as self-defense? When's the last time that you actually went and used it? Okay. Yes, I know ammo costs. Again, complacency, right? Because we get into the attitude of, well, I'm going to go to work today. I'm going to do this and this and this and this. I'm going to come home and I'm going to do this, this, and this. And the idea that something bad could happen at any moment goes flying out the window in a lot of cases, especially if you're used to city life and you're suddenly in a rural setting, or if you're used to a rural life and suddenly you're in a city setting. Each one of those settings require a different awareness of what is going on and what things look like, okay? So this incident could have been avoided. And it was my fault that this incident happened. And unfortunately, my dog paid for it. Fortunately for me, I have a fairly smart dog. And he got away and hid under the cabin until whatever predator it was left. And then he went and hid in the cabin. I mean, he literally hid. I had to go track him down by the lead to find him. That's how well hidden he was. Don't let this happen to you, because all in all, this cost me around $450, this incident. And it's probably going to cost me another 100 or 200 when he goes back to be rechecked in a couple weeks, right? So be aware of that, folks. You know, luckily for me, I do have an emergency fund, and I'm able to take care of that. But God forbid this happens to you and you have no emergency fund at all. Okay? It goes along with preparedness. You know, everybody talks about food and water and guns and bullets and these type of things. But really, in preparedness, you need to use the best organ that you have, which is your brain. Okay? Because if you have the knowledge, you can survive. Okay? And that is number one in our playbook, right? Survival. So take this opportunity and use my mistake to wake you up to areas in your life that you've started to be complacent about. And I know it's exceptionally hard nowadays with the way things are going up in price, with the way layoffs are happening, with the way hours are being cut back, to uh, focus on other things. But don't let the chaos that's going on in the nation take you away from being aware and being prepared. And with that, I'm going to let you go. Bicycle!